Joining us now is OG Jinx Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinx.
Good morning. Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you? Great, thank you. It was excellent. How was yours?
Yeah, great.
Great.
Good to see you.
You look lovely. How did we get that memo? You did it. We did it over the weekend.
Psychic connection.
You look lovely, Tundu.
So do you, darling.
Thank you. How are you, Rufai? Good morning.
Morning, Audrey. How are you?
You look
good
lovely
to see
in your pink tie.
Thank you so much.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, 1 week after Hurricane Ida made landfall on the Gulf Coast in Louisiana, more than 700,000 residents of the state are still out of power, according to energy company Entergy Louisiana. The residents could be looking at more than 3 weeks before power is restored. In the United Kingdom, the government has introduced a new set of regulations aimed at protecting children online and have threatened multi-million-dollar fines for companies that breach its new age-appropriate design code. Social media giants TikTok, Twitter, and Facebook are among companies adopting the new measures worldwide. In Afghanistan over the weekend, a policewoman, Banu Nega, was allegedly shot dead by Taliban militants right in front of her relatives at her family home in Firozkar, the capital central of Ghar province. The killing comes amid increasing reports of escalating repression of women in the country. And Afghanistan's most popular private television network has voluntarily replaced its risky Turkish soap operas and music shows with tamer programs tailored to the country's new Taliban rulers, who have issued vague directives that the media must not contradict Islamic laws or harm the national interest. In South Africa, reactions have trailed the medical parole granted to the country's former president, Jacob Zuma, who was jailed for 15 months in July for contempt of court after refusing to appear before a graft panel. Zuma spent only 2 months out of the 15-month jail term. While in Guinea on Sunday, soldiers led by Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya overthrew President Alpha Conde following hours of gunfire in Conakry, the capital of the West African nation. The colonel accused Conde's government of trampling on the rights of citizens and disrespecting democratic principles. Reactions trail. In Nigeria over the weekend, Revolution Now campaigner and human rights activist Omoyele Sowore accused the government of being complicit in the death of his younger brother Olajide Sowore, who was shot dead by alleged kidnappers in Edo State. Under sports, Team Nigeria has been ranked the third best from Africa after finishing with 10 medals in what has been described as a scintillating run at the Tokyo Paralympics. While the closing ceremony of the Paralympics over the weekend was lit up with fireworks, singing, dancing, and a parade of nations with the Paralympic flag formally passed on to Paris and accepted by the city's mayor, Anne Hidalgo, in anticipation of hosting the 2024 Games. Finally, under entertainment in Venice, the legendary Italian fashion house Dolce & Gabbana's Alta Sartoria fashion show that was hit by a violent hailstorm, where a mirror catwalk, which had been set up on the dock with an optical illusion that made the models appear to walk on water, tops the trend. The fashion show was the finale of 3 days of events in the Lagoon City. Well, let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. Following a string of abductions and closure of schools in some parts of Nigeria, including the recent one in Zamfara State, where scores of students were abducted by gunmen from a state-run high school in Maradun district on the 1st of September 2021, while advocacy group Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project over the weekend, in a petition signed by its deputy director, Kolawole Oluwarade, urged the International Criminal Court to commence an investigation on the widespread and systematic problem of abductions of Nigerian students and the failure of the government to provide a safe learning environment and the persistent closure of schools in northern Nigeria, with a view to determine if the activities amount to crimes against humanity within the court's jurisdiction. The group also urged the court to invite representatives of the Nigerian government and the governors of the states affected to provide written or oral testimony at the seat of the court and push for those suspected to be responsible and complicit in the commission of these crimes to be tried by the ICC. Well, in the meantime, reactions have trailed the shutting down of over 240 telecom sites in Zamfara State following the directive by the Nigerian Communications Commission over the prevailing security situation in the state. Let's take a quick tweet from former senator and human rights activist Shehu Sani, who wrote, "Shutting down telecommunication to fight terrorists is like switching off the lights in order to catch a snake in the dark." Tundu, I'm coming to you right on this story. I mean, how is this possible? What is the incentive of shutting down the telecoms to start with?
I think this government is proving to be a one-trick pony with regards to the security problem. You recall Dr. Issa Pantami as well, temporarily banning the sale of SIM cards. That's the only direction that they seem to ever be able to look at. And it's really baffling. As for Serap, having to go to the ICC speaks volumes. It says that they cannot get justice. They cannot get the proper attention paid to this scourge that is ruining all of our lives, even if we are not directly impacted because we're no longer students. It's been a long time since we've been in school. But what they are doing to the education of generations of Nigerians, how this is going to affect us, it's actually staggering to start to think about it. So Serap knows very well that they cannot have the proper attention paid to this matter and they have to go to the ICC. That, for me, is such an indictment of this government. And you now look at the front page today of this day, Buhari's administration has broken many jinxes, says presidency, lists achievements, and goes on to list the achievements, which I'm sure some people will quibble with, some people will accept. But the fact is that all of these achievements are drowned under the din of gunfire. Nobody cares what you've achieved, quite frankly. Children cannot go to school. Nobody is safe. Every single day, people are being murdered en masse. So that's all we really care about right now. And shutting down the mobile communication means what, really? Is this one of what they call a non-kinetic method? I'm completely baffled.
Rufai is very good with telecommunication. Can you tell us what the incentive can be in shutting those down?
Audrey, even in Afghanistan, they didn't shut down mobile network that the Taliban is fighting. As they've been a high level of insurgents. They didn't shut down mobile network. So it is shocking the sense behind this. You have crime, you have criminality. Is it by shutting down mobile networks so that the bandits will not reach one another? How about you hacking into their phone lines and tapping for their phone lines? And that's why I call to question the intelligence community. Is there something that they have to do that they are not doing? You see, when Shekau died, it was a French newspaper that hacked into the communication of bandits and Boko Haram people when they were talking, and it was on one of their phone conversations that said, Shekau is dead. So why can't our intelligence that are taking billions of naira to buy software, we saw the news the other day, why can't they hack into the phone conversations of these bandits and go pick them up? You don't need to shut down an entire phone mast, shut down economic activity, because you forget there are people that they have mobile money, they are doing their businesses on their phone, and shut down their livelihood because they want to fight bandits. Go there, pinpoint the bandits, even if you want to invade upon their communication, use all the software you have, invade upon their communication, and target them and take them out. This is going to shut down telecommunications. You have shut down the livelihood of people. So people can't communicate, they can't do their business because you want to fight bandits. When you can hack. So if a French newspaper can hack into the conversation, the phone conversation of bandits, what's Nigerian intelligence doing?
Right.
This is another very, I don't know how to describe the approach.
Right. Well, Dr. Abati, regarding Serap, you know that they have been quite vocal with the Nigerian authorities, and I think that this is one side that they have really got it right in trying to make sure that these crimes are registered as crime against humanity.
Well, Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, yes, one of those non-governmental organizations very active in pushing for human rights in the courts, even in the ECOWAS court, and also within the international arena. Going to the International Criminal Court, I guess what SERAP wants to do is to draw attention to the crisis with the education in Nigeria. And under the Rome Statute, Article 7 thereof recognizes, the education of a child as a human right.
Right.
And that's the basic thing that they are taking to the International Criminal Court. And they are alleging that under Article 17, which classifies violation of child rights, as a crime against humanity, they're saying that there is substantial evidence, substantial body of evidence for the international prosecutor at the ICC to look into the Nigerian situation. But you see the way the ICC works, it looks at every case on the basis of its own merit. It's not automatic that the ICC will jump into the matter. But we know, of course, that this year alone, in different parts of the Northwest, over 1,000 students, 1,000 pupils have been abducted. Many schools within a short period of time have been shut down. In some states, over 600 schools have been shut down. As we speak, in Borno, in Zamfara, in all of these places, schools have been shut down, denying children the opportunity to have access to education. The second leg of it is that Nigeria is a signatory to the Rome Statute. And what SERAP is saying is that the ICC should hold Nigeria accountable, because under the Rome Statute, states have a responsibility to protect and defend the rights of their citizens. But what will happen at the end of the day? Yes, maybe the ICC will weigh the evidence provided, will look at the Nigerian situation, and then arrive at its own decision. But you know that the ICC, of course, is also heavily politicized. There are persons who think and who believe that the ICC is more interested in African cases and looks the other way when the more developed countries are involved. As for the shutting down of the telecom infrastructure in Zamfara, well, you recall that in March, President Buhari declared Zamfara a no-fly zone. There was also an order that anybody found with an AK-47 should be shot on sight. What effect has that, achieved? What has been the result of that? Between that March and now, over 500 persons have been killed in Zamfara. The abductions continue. The reign of violence has continued. So what is the guarantee that shutting down telecoms in Zamfara state will achieve any effect? What if the terrorists, what if they are using satellite phones that the government cannot easily shut down? And now they are shutting down telecommunications because they say, people will use GSM. Have you forgotten that on this program, we once drew attention to the fact that the police said that their tracking system had collapsed because they could not pay the contractor that helped the Nigeria police. That's the police that is monitoring the whole of Nigeria, because the contractor had not been paid.
Absolutely.
So it's not as if we've been tracking anything, and they were depending on the office of the National Security Advisor at the time to be able to track telecommunications. So these are some of the contradictions that you find in Nigeria. The people who will suffer are the ordinary people of Zamfara, who need their phones, who are not criminals, to do business, to interact, to connect, to solve emergencies, to process situations.
Yes.
Now, it's like shutting down, in one sense, the economy of Zamfara state. I think that government should focus more on making sure that all these, they are, what is it called again, kinetic and non-kinetic. I think it's about time we change that vocabulary, because we move from security architecture to kinetic, non-kinetic. Maybe somebody will be creative. They will come up with another phrase, But what the people of Nigeria want is result. The safety of lives and property. That is what they want. Not all these knee-jerk reactions that may not make much difference.
All right. We'll take another story. Senator Mohammed Ali Ndume, chairman of the Senate Committee on the Army, over the weekend raised alarm over the insurgents who have surrendered to the military not to be freed unconditionally. The senator, who spoke with State House correspondents after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the State House in Abuja, said insurgents, especially those that have blood on their hands, cannot be let go just because they have surrendered. According to him, even though there may be innocent persons among them, some who may have been used as slaves and human shields must all be processed according to national and international law. Tundu, I'm sure you will agree with me because this is what we've all been talking about, and I think that it is quite important that he continues to be vocal about this.
Yes.
You just hit the nail on the head.
Perfectly said by Senator Ali Ndume. And I'm sure his voice carries some weight.
Yes.
It's very important because, like I was saying last week, this perception of collusion continues to linger around the present administration, and they must do all that they possibly can to divorce themselves from it, to really make it very clear that they are zero tolerance, stance towards terrorists. If anything short of that will buttress that impression that they are all in cahoots, and we do not need that in Nigeria. People who have surrendered, as Senator Ndume said, cannot be summarily executed anymore. Once they've surrendered, we thank them, but then we process them. They must be prosecuted, and they must do time for their crime. You don't just get to skip off merrily into a field of daisies. After you've murdered people, you don't. He's right.
Rafai, your take on this, real quick.
So for me, this is another clear shade of hypocrisy, very big hypocrisy. Senator Ali Ndume is saying, yeah, process them, don't let them go. But there was a report by this day on something called Operation Suluhu, that you are already giving them, let me use Dr. Abati's word, jollof rice and chicken. The terrorists. You're already appeasing them. You're already giving them everything to stop.
And Ashoebi.
And Ashoebi, you are making deals with them. Governor of Zamfara State, Governor of Katsina State, all of you, you've made deals with this. You've done photo-ops with them. And now you are saying those that repent, you have to process them. Who are we deceiving? We deceive ourselves too much in this country. Who are we deceiving? Who are we deceiving? Winston Churchill will always say, an appeaser is the one that keeps giving the crocodile meat and hopes that the crocodile will eat him last. In the fight against terrorism, we have become appeasers. It is time to take the fight to them, stop this once and for all, let them come beg. Prosecute them and move on with our life. This fight has gone for too long, Oji. This is over 10 years. Over 10 years. Only God knows what the Human Development Index in the Northeast will be like because of this insurgency. This has gone on for over 10 years. 12 years. This is fast becoming the longest war in any part. Check all over Africa. Becoming the longest war. This is fast becoming another case of FARC in Colombia. That went on for over 40 years. And now we are saying all of this. Ali Ndume will say something in one mouth. At the back, we discover the federal government is doing another thing, giving them money. Except we speak with one voice in this fight against Soja. We can't get anywhere.
Well said, Rufai.
So we are deceiving ourselves as far as I'm concerned. Hypocrisy.
Well, it will be difficult to put any time frame to terrorism. After all, or violence, the Mujahideens, they started in 1978, 1979. They got to power at a point they were dislodged by the Americans after 2011. They're back there now. So I think, some people push the argument. They talk about a policy of appeasement when you are dealing with criminals. But, all of these things have to be put in context. The position we have always maintained here is that, look, if you use policy of appeasement with criminals, with cold-blooded murderers, in Nigeria, you will more or less be encouraging them. It's more or less the same thing as giving money to terrorists, in return for persons. So if, you don't allow them to do time for the crime that they have committed, everybody will just come forward. We're told over 1,000 persons have come forward. They've said, oh, we are no longer terrorists with members of their families. What is the guarantee that they will not go back, as some have? What structures do we have in place to get the relevant intelligence from them? And this Senator Ali Ndume, the senator representing Borno South, is talking about a carrot and stick approach. In other words, those that have blood on their hands should not go away with the impression that they can kill and go free.
Said it right.
So what do you say to the people in the IDPs who lost their loved ones? What do you say to, women who have become widows as a result of terrorist activities? And we used to say it here, maybe it's already happening, that one of these days, a terrorist, a repentant terrorist, as they call them, who has been de-radicalized, who has been reconciled with, will probably show up in a very important position in Nigeria. And yet, Ali Ndume says some of these people, you know, have blood on their hands.
Absolutely.
Those who have blood on their hands
must be tried.
Must face trial.
Well said. We'll take our final story in Anambra State with this video of a man who took to social media over the weekend to lament over the poor condition of a road which left many users stranded and rendered several vehicles inoperable. Let's take a look.
As you can see, I know now also see Oga Amesi Umuchu when I ga Umunze ina anya efu na dozo odigo ka ya de ima na ekwu na n'obodo nwe ka o si dị ụfọdụ na-eche na na-atụ asị ihe akwamozu ka anyị na-eje na Ọhafịa Abia State or a journey anyị nwere ike ịgba almost 5 hours now. Look at it. I don't know. Amara m ihe obi anọ na-eme. Amara m ya apụga gọọmenti na-eme. Lenye ị na-anya fo moto Godwin Maduka on the politicians leading to Umunze from Umuchu. Yes. As you can see it now, this is it. This is the road. If we can demand n'elu mmiri n'ụzọ ngige lụrụ ụzọ a mgbe ọ bụ gọvanọ lụcha ya tinye aka, but the government ndị batazenu juzie na ama maintain the ụzọ. Everybody is stranded here. Look at the people. Look at the people. Look at people. People are stranded. You can see the kind of suffering people are suffering here. Yes. This is the bad government we're experiencing in Anambra State. So, I know enough is enough. We have to change and see if we can find a better governor this time around.
Dr. Abati, you just said the whole country is stranded. I mean, look at this video. It is appalling, really.
Well, this is just one road between Umunze and Umuchu. That's between Anambra and Abia State. But there are worse roads.
Yes.
That's the funny part. The more disturbing, the more tragic part of
Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Audrey.